Welcome back, Ravens fans. Today, we are going to talk about whose players on the Ravens stock is going up and whose player stock is going down. Please subscribe and let's get right into it. So the first name we want to talk about stock going down is Mike Davis. Now, Mike Davis is an interesting case because he was looked at as the lead running back in the backfield for the Ravens throughout the entire preseason. However, it is a shocking development that Kendrick Drake came on the scene, played less than a week as a Raven, and was able to become a starting running back. The Ravens have one of the most complex running schemes in all of football. And though it didn't look like it versus the Jets, I promise you it is harder to grasp than some people can do in just 1 week. Now, when you look at the snap count, you can see that Kenyan Drake had 33 snaps at running back, being on the field 59% of the offensive snaps, while Mike Davis was only on the field for 7 snaps, 12% of the offense. And guess what? Justice Hill, who you guys know I've been down on, was on the field for 11 snaps, more than Mike Davis. There seems to be a disconnect from what I saw in the preseason and the reports that I heard about Mike Davis and what their coaches really think for the Baltimore Ravens. Mike Davis' stock is down because he is currently the third running back in the rotation when we have 2 running backs who are injured. When the other 2 come back, Mike Davis will probably be let go. Now, on defense, there's a lot of contenders for people whose stock may be up, but I have to pick 3. So I'm going to pick first Chuck Clark. Chuck Clark's stock is rising because, one, he didn't want to be on the team at the beginning of the offseason. We all thought it was a possibility that he might be traded or replaced by the duo of Marcus Williams and Kyle Hamilton. However, it is 100% the truth that he is one of the focal points because he is the glue, the defensive backfield, and the linebackers. When we go into our big nickel set, he's the one that comes down to the line of scrimmage. He sometimes spies for linebackers. He's really good at doing multiple things. And the fact that he's been able to do these multiple things and the defense led by Wink Martindale and then one by Mike McDonald means that his skill just permeates through the defense regardless of who's calling the defensive plays. Also, we have to keep in account that he is the one that was wearing the green dot. For those that don't know, the green dot is the way that the coaches communicate to the players on the field. So, for example, Lamar Jackson will wear the green dot on offense, and for defense is Chuck Clark. All this put together and the excellency that Chuck Clark played with, the consistency, the ability to force a turnover, led to him being one of the highest graded players for the Baltimore Ravens from Pro Football Focus, receiving a score of 80.5 for his play. This play made it certain that the Ravens are going to figure out how to do multiple safeties and never trade Chuck Clark. Now, the next player that has a downtrend is Ben Powers. Ben Powers is already on the line. He wasn't really that impressive in the preseason and had to fight for his position there. But once you look at the information that we received from watching him play on Sunday, he did not do well along with the rest of the offensive line, especially in running packages. What's disappointing is that the best quality that Ben Powers has is as a run blocker, and the left side of the line had trouble running all day long. There was no runs on the left side that were really successful throughout the first 3 quarters, regardless of the running back. It was just really disappointing showing from all of the offensive linemen, but I have to point out Ben Powers because when your best trait is being a run defender, the inability to move people in the run game really sticks out, especially as a guard. So again, a lot of people on the offensive line get blamed, but I have to point out Ben Powers because that's his thing and he could not do his thing against the Jets. Now, on the uptrend is of course Devin Duvernay. Duvernay played an excellent game at the receiver position, and I was just really impressed about the difficulty of the plays that he made. When we look at the first touchdown, it was a great catch by Devin Duvernay where he literally muscled the ball with a cornerback doing his best to try to get it out. It was an impressive play, a strong-handed catch, something that we haven't had since really Anquan Bolden and Steve Smith. It was just super impressive to see, and it was one of those plays that only a receiver could actually help make. Lamar Jackson threw the ball as well as he could, but again, the cornerback was right there and Devin Duvernay wrestled it down. The other touchdown that he had was just him keep on moving and finding the open space. These are the hardest plays for receivers to make. Receivers love when the play is called for them and they can get the ball when they know they're going to be expecting it. Devin Duvernay did not have that opportunity because he is really the third receiver on the team, but he did show that if he keeps on working and keeps on grinding, that he will be ready to catch the ball when it's his time to catch it. You add that to his special team prowess, and I think that we are going to have a receiver that's going to be in Baltimore for a while because he can do so many different things. Next, we're going to talk about another downtrend player. Unfortunately, we're going to have to talk about James Prochet. James Prochet had the least offensive snaps of anyone who played on the Ravens this last weekend. That is really disappointing because James Prochet was being made a big deal, not only by Ravens fans. Again, if it was just Ravens fans, I could understand. Sometimes we can be hyperbolic. I get it. We're like other fan bases as well. We can get excited. But even the people who work for the Ravens used to do their own little press run about James Prochet. But then the coaches don't even play him enough for him to be a significant factor. What this is telling me is that the 3 receivers that they like, they're going to roll with, and that'll be Bateman, Duvernay, and Robinson, and everyone else will be filled in when they can. That even includes Isaiah Likely. So I didn't put Likely on the list because he's a rookie, but I had to put Prochet on the list because this is the second year in a row that we've heard rave reviews in training camp, but when it comes to the field, the coaches don't have the confidence to put him out there above other receiving options. So it's just an interesting thing. Hopefully it's an injury related thing, right? He's coming back from injury, and as he gets more time, he'll be on the field. But for right now, he has to be on the downtrend. If you had stock in James Prochet, you might want to sell it now. The last player whose stock is going up, rocketing through the sky, is Patrick Queen. Patrick Queen is impressive. He is putting it all together. He said he would improve. His dad said he would improve. And guess what? He's improving. He played every single defensive snap for the Baltimore Ravens. That is trust. That is having faith in him. At the linebacker position, him being able to do his job, split the gaps, and really do a pretty good job in the run game is impressive. Hopefully he continues this trend and becomes the linebacker that the Ravens drafted him for. But currently, he is doing an excellent job at doing multiple things for the defense. In the past, he sometimes struggled putting together the multiple phases. One game, he'd be really good at blitzing. The next game, he'd be terrible at blitzing, but he would be okay at coverage. And there were some games where he would just be terrible overall. Last year, he was literally the 3rd lowest rated linebacker in Pro Football Focus. Now he's putting it all together. Last week, he had 6 QB pressures. Now, we do know the Jets' offensive line was just not very good last week, but it's important to say that 6 offensive pressures against an NFL team is still good, especially from a middle linebacker position. He also was really good in the run game. He also had some plays in the pass game where he cut off those lanes. Again, he just played a really good, complete game, and it's something that we've not seen from him very consistently. Those are my picks for the people whose stocks are up and those whose stocks are down. Let me know in the comments below if you agree. If you watched to the end, thank you so much, and go Ravens.